Welcome to the AI Coach by Anil Nathu.
Great to be here.
Today, we're tackling a really vital subject for, well, pretty much any modern business, leveraging AI for smarter decision-making.
Absolutely critical.
We're drawing on insights from a comprehensive guide, AI for Business Decision-Making, a complete 10-step guide for success, which comes from the AI Coach.
Yeah, it's a crucial discussion to have.
Yeah.
I mean, in today's business landscape, things change so fast.
Yeah.
Being able to make informed choices quickly, that can be a real differentiator.
It really can. And so many organizations, they're just swimming in data, aren't they? Navigating these constantly shifting markets. It makes timely, effective decisions, well, a massive challenge.
Totally. It's overwhelming for many.
Absolutely. And that's really where AI agents start to come into the picture. Now, these aren't just, your standard software program.
Yeah, not at all.
We're talking about sophisticated systems. They're designed to analyze information, pull out the key insights, and even support, or sometimes automate critical business decisions.
So our mission, if you like, for this deep dive is to really get under the hood and understand how these AI agents can enhance business decision-making. We'll be leaning heavily on the expert guidance from this material from the AI Coach by Anil Nathu.
Right. We'll look at the hurdles that maybe more traditional decision-making faces and how AI offers a potentially powerful way forward.
Exactly. Looking at those contrasts.
Okay, so let's dive right in then. Section 1, the introduction to AI for business decision-making. The guide from AI Coach really emphasizes that in today's climate, making the right call at the right moment. It's not just nice to have.
No, it's often the deciding factor. Literally between thriving and just, treading water or surviving.
Yeah.
The sheer amount of data we have now, plus the speed of market changes, the competition, it all puts immense pressure on businesses. Traditional ways of making decisions, they often struggle to keep pace.
And the guide introduces AI agents as this potential game changer. Could you maybe unpack that a bit? What exactly is an AI agent in this context?
Sure. So think of them as highly advanced software systems. They go way beyond simple data crunching. They're actually engineered to analyze massive data sets, spot subtle patterns, generate insights you can act on, and then crucially support or even fully automate decisions.
How do they do that? What's the tech behind it?
Well, the core technologies mentioned are things like machine learning. That's what allows them to learn from data. Then there's natural language processing, NLP, which lets them understand human language like text or speech. And predictive analytics, which, as the name suggests, helps them forecast future trends and outcomes.
Okay, so it's not just processing numbers. It's about understanding context, learning, predicting.
Exactly. It's a combination.
And the guide points to some key advantages they offer.
It does. Several big ones. Things like a significant boost in the speed of decision-making, improved accuracy because you're reducing human error, better scalability so they can handle more data, more decisions as the business grows, and importantly, a reduction in human bias because decisions are grounded more in objective data.
That bias point is interesting. The guide gives some examples too, right, to make it more concrete.
Yeah, good examples like an AI agent analyzing customer buying patterns, maybe alongside local event data, to predict a spike in demand for certain items, and then automatically tweaking inventory levels.
Okay, so very practical.
Or another one was using AI agents to simulate different pricing strategies. How would things play out if a competitor did X or Y? Helping find that sweet spot for profit without losing customers.
So the core argument here from the AI Coach Guide seems to be that AI agents aren't just a small improvement. They're more like a fundamental shift in how businesses can approach decision-making, tackling those old, persistent challenges.
Precisely. And the guide really underscores that these agents deliver tangible, measurable value, whether it's making supply chains run smoother or personalizing customer experiences so people stick around longer, or getting better at predicting financial risks. The impact is real and becoming clear all the time.
Okay. Now, before we jump too far into the AI solution, the guide does take a valuable step back. It looks at the difficulties inherent in, let's call it, traditional business decision-making. It acknowledges, experience and intuition have value, but...
But they often struggle with today's complexities.
Yeah, that's a really key point. Human expertise is still vital, absolutely. But the sheer volume and speed of information today, it can just swamp those traditional human-centric processes. The guide lays out 3 main challenges here.
Right, let's unpack those. The first one, information overload. I think most people feel this personally, but in a business, it must be amplified massively.
Oh, hugely. Businesses are just drowning in data. Customer
Yeah.
feedback, sales numbers, social media chatter, competitor actions, market reports. It comes from everywhere. And just the volume makes it incredibly hard for decision makers to figure out what's actually relevant, what's critical for making a good choice.
Yeah, finding the signal in all that noise. The
Yeah.
guide has an example, I think, of a retail executive trying to set prices. Yeah, juggling sales data, competitor moves, consumer sentiment. It's a classic example. You've got all this information, but how do you synthesize it effectively?
And it's often stuff in different places, right? Siloed data.
Exactly. That just makes it worse. Marketing has its data, sales has its data, finance has its own view. Getting a single, unified picture is tough. So decisions end up being based on incomplete or fragmented information. Not ideal.
Okay, challenge number 2, cognitive biases. This is fascinating. It's about how our own minds can sort of trick us, even when we're trying to be rational.
That's right. Cognitive biases are like mental shortcuts. They help us process information quickly, but they can also distort our reasoning without us even realizing it. The guide mentions a few common ones.
Like what?
Well, things like overconfidence bias, thinking we know more than we do, or anchoring bias, getting stuck on the first piece of information we receive. There's groupthink, where everyone just agrees to maintain harmony,
Hmm.
the sunk cost fallacy.
Ah, the sunk cost fallacy, where you keep pouring money into something that's failing just because you've already invested so much.
Exactly. The guide gives an example of a company sticking with an underperforming product for that very reason. These biases are sneaky, often subconscious, but they can seriously mess with decision quality, leading to flawed strategies, missed opportunities.
Right. And the third challenge the guide points to is time constraints, the pressure to act fast.
Precisely. It's this constant tension, isn't it? You need to move quickly to grab opportunities or react to threats.
Hmm.
But you also need to be thorough, analyze the data, weigh the options carefully,
So you risk making rushed decisions without enough info.
which can lead to costly mistakes, yeah. Like launching a product without proper market research, as the guide suggests.
Or, on the flip side, you delay too long, analyzing everything to death.
And you miss the boat entirely. Competitors move faster, market conditions change, it's paralysis by analysis. This pressure often forces people to rely on gut feel or incomplete data, which just increases the odds of a bad outcome.
The guide really drives home the point that these challenges combined, the data overload, the biases, the time pressure, they can have a really profound negative impact.
Absolutely. Financial losses, missed chances to grow, competitors pulling ahead, it all erodes competitive advantage. And the guide concludes that these limitations really highlight why we urgently need more scalable, data-driven solutions.
Like AI agents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which brings us neatly to the next part of the guide.
Which looks at the different types of business decisions. It's interesting how they categorize these. It helps frame where AI might fit best.
Yeah, it's a useful framework. The guide basically classifies decisions based on their scope, how big their impact is on the organization,
Yeah.
and how often they tend to happen.
Okay, so the first category is strategic decisions. These sound like the big ones.
They are high-level, long-term choices, usually made by senior leadership. These are the decisions that really set the overall direction of the company.
So what kind of things fall under strategic?
Well, the guide lists quite a few. Things like deciding whether to enter a completely new market, or pursuing a major merger or acquisition, maybe fundamentally changing the business model itself, or forming big strategic alliances, big investments in innovation, R&D, deciding to sell off parts of the business.
Okay, really foundational stuff, stuff that has ripples for years.
Exactly. The guide also includes things like major corporate restructurings, big commitments to sustainability, redefining the core brand positioning, and even making those crucial exit strategy decisions, all very high level, high impact.
Right. Then the second category is tactical decisions.
Correct. These are more medium term, think maybe 1 to 3 years out, usually handled by middle management, and their main job is to support those big strategic goals we just talked about.
So strategy sets the destination. Tactics are more about the route and the resources needed.
That's a good way to put it. Examples the guide gives include things like planning specific marketing campaigns, figuring out workforce needs hiring plans, training, allocating budgets to different departments, finding ways to optimize key processes, adjusting pricing strategies based on what the market's doing.
Makes sense. Anything else tactical?
Oh yeah, things like selecting key suppliers, deciding which new technologies to adopt, expanding or maybe shrinking product lines, developing plans to manage specific risks, segmenting your customer base for more targeted efforts. It's all about executing the strategy.
Got it. And the third category is operational decisions. Sounds like the day-to-day stuff.
That's exactly what it is. Short-term choices, often made by lower-level managers or even frontline staff, they keep the engine running smoothly, often quite repetitive, needing immediate action,
Like,
like managing inventory, how much to reorder, when, scheduling employee shifts or production line runs, approving routine purchase orders, handling common customer service questions, scheduling regular maintenance for equipment.
things that have to happen constantly for the business to function.
Precisely. The guide also mentions things like making sure quality control checks happen, managing the order fulfillment process, approving standard expense reports, setting daily task priorities, ensuring safety rules are followed. Small decisions individually maybe, but huge impact collectively.
Okay, strategic, tactical, operational. And there's a fourth type, functional decisions.
Yeah, functional decisions.
Yeah.
These are a bit different because they're specific to a particular business function like marketing, finance, HR, operations, IT. And the key thing is they can actually happen at any of those first three levels: strategic, tactical, or operational.
Ah, okay. So within marketing, you could have a strategic decision about brand direction, a tactical one about a campaign plan, and an operational one about daily social media posts.
Exactly, you've got it. The guide gives other examples too, like in finance. A strategic decision might be about capital structure, while an operational one is managing daily cash flow. In HR, strategy could be about overall talent philosophy, tactics about designing a training program, operations about processing payroll. Same logic applies across all functions.
That's a really helpful way to slice it. And the guide suggests that understanding these categories helps figure out where to apply different tools,
Mhm.
including AI agents.
Absolutely. By knowing the nature, the scope, the frequency, the impact of different decisions, businesses can be much smarter about targeting their efforts. They can see where an AI agent might automate something entirely versus where it might provide support for a more complex human decision.
Mm.
It helps match the tool to the task.
Right. Okay. This framework is really useful. Let's now circle back and focus specifically on these AI agents, what the AI Coach Guide says they are and how they actually work. Clearly more than just a buzzword.
Definitely. The guide really paints them as a significant leap forward from traditional methods. It describes them as sophisticated software systems that can, and this is key, autonomously analyze data, generate insights, and then support or even execute decisions, often with minimal human input needed for routine stuff.
That word autonomously really stands out, doesn't it? It implies a level of intelligence, maybe independence, beyond just following fixed rules.
Exactly. Unlike older software that just did what it was explicitly programmed to do, AI agents use these advanced technologies, we mentioned machine learning, NLP, predictive analytics, to adapt, to learn, and to provide solutions that are tailored to the situation.
So it's that mix of learning, understanding language, and forecasting that gives them their power. The guide also breaks down their core capabilities, right, into three areas.
Yes, it does. First, their ability to process and analyze just vast amounts of data, stuff at a scale way beyond what any human team could handle. They can ingest it, make sense of it very quickly.
Okay, handling the data deluge, what's second?
Second is pattern recognition and predictive modeling. This is where they shine at finding those subtle connections, those hidden trends in the data that humans might miss, allows them to surface opportunities or flag potential risks.
Seeing things we can't easily see. And the third capability.
Is automation and recommendation. So they can automate those routine, lower impact decisions, freeing up people. Or, for more complex choices, they can provide data-driven recommendations, options, forecasts to help the human decision maker.
The guide gives some everyday examples, too, to ground this.
Yeah, familiar ones. Chatbots in customer service. Those are AI agents understanding and responding to queries. Recommendation engines on sites like Netflix or Amazon. Classic AI agents suggesting things based on your past behavior.
Right, we interact with them all the time.
We do. And then there are more complex decision intelligence platforms used in finance or logistics, offering deeper strategic insights. They're becoming quite widespread.
Okay. And the guide also describes how they work, like a cycle.
Yes, a cyclical process. It's important. It starts with data input, grabbing structured data like sales numbers, and unstructured data like customer emails or social media posts.
Okay, get the data in. Then.
Then comes processing and analysis. This is where the algorithms go to work, cleaning the data, organizing it, finding those patterns and insights.
Makes sense.
Based on that analysis, the agent then either makes a decision, if it's automated, or generates a recommendation or forecast for a human.
Right.
But here's the crucial last step: learning and adaptation. The agent takes feedback. Did the decision work out well? Was the recommendation followed? And uses that outcome data to refine its own internal models. so it gets better over time.
Ah, so it's constantly improving itself based on results. That's powerful.
It really is. It's a continuous loop. And the AI Coach Guide really stresses these agents aren't just about automation. They're positioned more as partners, helping businesses navigate complexity and really harness the power locked away in their data.
It sounds like a fundamental shift, moving away from just gut feeling towards more evidence-based choices.
That's exactly the idea, making decisions smarter, faster, and more objective.
Okay, so we've got a good handle on what AI agents are and the mechanics of how they work. Now, the AI Coach Guide really dives into how they specifically enhance business decision-making, how they tackle those traditional limitations we talked about earlier.
Right, this is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
What are the actual benefits? The guide lays out 6 key ways AI agents deliver value, offering, speed, precision, objectivity that old methods often lack.
Okay, let's walk through these. Benefit number one, data-driven insights. This seems fundamental, given the data overload problem.
Absolutely fundamental.
Yep.
AI agents excel here. They can take those huge, messy piles of raw data and transform them into meaningful, actionable insights. They analyze far more comprehensively than humans can, meaning decisions get based on solid evidence, not just hunches.
And the example for this.
The guide uses the retail example again. AI analyzing purchase patterns, predicting demand, helping optimize inventory, so you avoid stockouts and overstocking. It's about making smarter choices based on what the data actually says.
That ability to see patterns and predict based on all the data is huge. Okay, benefit
Absolutely.
two, speed and efficiency, critical and fast markets.
Totally critical. AI agents can process info and spit out recommendations or even make decisions in real time or near real time. This lets businesses react incredibly quickly to changing conditions.
Like the e-commerce example.
Exactly. Using AI to dynamically adjust prices based on what competitors are doing, current demand, inventory levels,
Mhm.
making those tiny adjustments constantly to maximize profit or market share.
Mm,
Humans just can't operate at that speed and granularity.
right. Benefit three, reducing bias. We touched on cognitive biases earlier. AI offers a way around that.
It offers a potential way around it, yes. Because AI relies on objective data analysis rather than subjective human judgment, it can mitigate the impact of those biases. We talked about confirmation bias, anchoring, etc.
The guide mentions hiring.
Yeah, using AI for initial resume screening based purely on defined skills and experience metrics from the job description. The idea is to level the playing field, make it more objective.
Though there's a caveat there too, right? About the data the AI learns from.
Oh, absolutely. A crucial caveat the guide likely touches on later. If the historical data used to train the AI is itself biased, the AI can inherit and even amplify that bias. So it's not a magic bullet for bias, it needs careful management.
Okay, good point. Benefit four, scenario simulation and forecasting. This sounds incredibly valuable for planning.
It really is. AI agents can build models of potential future scenarios. What happens if we do A versus B? What are the risks? What are the likely outcomes? They use predictive analytics for this.
So like the example of forecasting sales for a new product launch.
Exactly. Under different conditions, maybe different marketing spends, different competitor reactions, AI can simulate these possibilities, giving leaders a much clearer picture of the potential consequences of their decisions before they make them. Reduces uncertainty.
Very useful. Benefit five, automation of routine decisions, freeing people up.
Yep. This is a big efficiency play. Let the AI handle the simple, repetitive, low-stakes stuff. Like the guide's example of AI in procurement automatically approving purchase orders under a certain value if they meet preset rules.
So humans can focus on trickier, more strategic work.
Precisely. Higher value tasks.
And the final benefit, number six, personalization and customer-centric decisions. Super important today. Hugely important. AI is brilliant at leveraging customer data, purchase history, browsing behavior, demographics to tailor experiences.
Like the streaming service example.
Perfect example. Recommending shows or movies based on what you've watched and liked before. It makes the service feel more relevant, increases engagement, keeps customers happy. The same applies to personalized marketing, product recommendations, etc.
So when you put all these benefits together, the insights, the speed, the reduced bias, the forecasting, the automation, the personalization, the guide's conclusion is that AI creates a decision-making process that's just faster, more accurate, more objective.
And ultimately, better aligned with the business's goals. It unlocks new ways of operating, new possibilities for growth and innovation. It's not just about doing things faster, it's about doing things smarter.
That really clarifies the how. Now, to make this even more real, the AI Coach Guide moves into real-world applications across different industries. It's always good to see theory put into practice. Definitely. Seeing how different sectors are actually using these tools makes the potential much clearer. The guide gives examples showing how versatile AI agents can be.
Okay, let's start with retail. We've touched on it already. Seems like a prime candidate.
It really is. The guide highlights things we mentioned, like dynamic pricing AI, constantly tweaking prices based on demand, competition, inventory. Also, much more efficient inventory management through better demand forecasting. And, of course, personalized marketing tailoring offers and ads based on individual customer data.
These feel like core challenges for any retailer today. What about finance? Another data-heavy sector.
Absolutely. Finance is a huge area for AI. The guide points to critical uses like fraud detection, spotting those unusual transaction patterns that signal trouble. Also, credit risk assessment, analyzing tons of data points to predict how likely someone is to repay a loan. And algorithmic trading, where AI makes buy-sell decisions in milliseconds based on market signals.
High stakes, high speed, accuracy is paramount there. What about healthcare?
Healthcare is fascinating. The guide gives examples like optimizing resource allocation in hospitals, predicting patient numbers to schedule staff and equipment better, assisting with patient triage, helping prioritize care based on urgency using historical data and current symptoms, even aiding in treatment planning by analyzing patient records and the latest medical literature to suggest options.
Wow, the potential impact on patient outcomes and efficiency seems enormous.
Hmm.
What's next? Manufacturing.
Yep, manufacturing. Key applications highlighted are predictive maintenance using sensor data from machines to predict when they might fail before they do, allowing for proactive repairs, and supply chain optimization, analyzing forecasts, logistics costs, supplier reliability to make the whole chain run more smoothly and cost-effectively.
Saving money, preventing downtime. Clear value there. The guide also has a specific case study, doesn't it? Amazon.
Yes, Amazon is a classic, powerful example of AI in action, particularly in logistics. They use AI for practically everything, predicting demand to know what to stock where, optimizing delivery routes, considering traffic, weather, package volume, and of course, their famous recommendation engines suggesting products.
And the result for Amazon?
Massive scalability, reduced costs, incredible speed and reliability. Their dominance is in large part built on their sophisticated use of AI across their operations. It really shows what's possible when AI is deeply integrated.
It's a compelling case. And it highlights, as a guide points out, how adaptable these AI agents are. They work across so many different contexts.
Exactly. While the specific applications differ, the core benefits efficiency, accuracy, insight, personalization seem pretty universal. AI agents are proving their worth in a huge range of industries.
Okay, so we've seen the potential and the applications. But like any powerful technology, AI agents aren't perfect. The AI Coach Guide provides a balanced view, looking at both the benefits and the limitations.
Yeah, that's really important. It's crucial to understand both sides of the coin to use AI effectively and responsibly. Let's recap some key benefits first, maybe.
Good idea. What are some overarching advantages?
Well, scalability is a big one. AI can handle a massive volume of decisions simultaneously. Think of a global retailer adjusting millions of prices. Daily humans can't do that. Consistency is another. AI applies the same criteria every time, leading to predictable outcomes, like a bank assessing loan applications using a standard model. And adaptability, they learn and improve over time, like a logistics firm constantly refining delivery routes based on new traffic data.
Scalable, consistent, adaptable. Strong points. But what about the downsides, the limitations?
Right. The first major one is data dependency. AI agents are only as good as the data they're fed. If your data is inaccurate, incomplete, or biased, the AI's output will be too.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Pretty much. The guide likely uses an example like inaccurate sales data leading to bad inventory forecasts. It really underscores the need for solid data governance, making sure your data is clean, reliable, and well managed.
Okay, data dependency. What else?
Ethical concerns are huge. We touched on bias already. The risk of AI perpetuating or even amplifying existing societal biases present in historical data. Think bias hiring recommendations. Transparency is another issue. Sometimes AI models, especially complex ones, become black boxes. It's hard to understand why they made a particular decision.
Which makes it hard to trust them or fix problems.
Exactly. And then there are data privacy concerns. All this requires careful ethical design, audits, and ongoing monitoring.
A critical area. Any other limitations?
Implementation costs can be significant. The software, the specialized hardware sometimes needed, the expertise required to build and maintain these systems, training your staff, It can be a substantial upfront investment.
Especially for smaller businesses.
Potentially, yes. And there are ongoing maintenance costs, too. It's not a one-off expense. So the guide stresses that understanding this balance, the powerful benefits versus the real limitations and costs, is essential for making smart choices about adopting AI.
Okay, that makes sense. So, assuming a business understands the pros and cons and wants to move forward, the guide offers some best practices for actually integrating AI agents into their decision-making processes.
Yes, it provides some actionable advice for getting started successfully. It's not just about flipping a switch.
What's the first piece of advice?
Start small. Don't try to boil the ocean. Begin with pilot projects in specific, maybe lower risk areas. Test the capabilities, build confidence, learn lessons.
Like using AI for common customer support questions first, maybe.
Exactly. Something manageable. It lets you identify challenges and kinks in a controlled environment before you go big. Build momentum.
Good practical advice. What's next?
Ensure data quality. We just talked about data dependency. This is absolutely critical. You need clean, well-structured, up-to-date data for AI to work reliably. Rubbish in, rubbish out, remember?
So, investing in data cleaning, standardization, maybe data governance processes.
Essential. It's the foundation. Don't skimp on data preparation and ongoing monitoring. It pays off in the long run with more accurate and trustworthy AI outputs.
Okay, start small, get your data right. What's the third best practice?
Combine AI with human oversight. This is often called the human-in-the-loop approach. Don't just fully automate everything, especially high-stakes or nuanced decisions. Use AI for its strengths, analyzing data, generating recommendations, handling routine stuff, but keep humans involved for judgment, context, ethical considerations, and final calls on complex issues.
So, like the example of AI suggesting potential medical treatments, but the doctor makes the final decision based on the patient's specific situation.
Precisely. It's about synergy, leveraging the best of both AI's analytical power and human expertise and judgment. Finding that right balance is key for effective and responsible implementation.
Start small, ensure data quality, combine AI and human oversight. Seems like sound advice for navigating this integration. Now, looking ahead, the AI Coach Guide also discusses the future of AI agents in business decision-making. Where is this all heading?
Yeah, it looks at the trajectory. Things are evolving fast. The guide points to a few key emerging trends.
Such as?
Well, first, expect more sophisticated AI models. Models capable of handling even more complex tasks, maybe things like contract negotiation analysis, or contributing more deeply to strategic planning itself. The capabilities will keep growing.
Okay, more powerful AI. What else?
Integration with the Internet of Things, or IoT. As more devices get connected and generate real-time data from factory sensors to smart logistics trackers, AI agents will be able to tap into this live data stream for even more immediate, responsive decision-making.
Real-time reactions based on real-world data.
Exactly, which connects to another trend, real-time decision intelligence,
Yeah.
combining AI with live data feeds to make split-second choices, like the dynamic pricing example, but applied much more broadly across operations.
Faster and faster. What about full automation? Will we see systems making decisions entirely on their own?
The guide suggests we'll likely see more fully autonomous decision-making systems, but probably focused on lower-risk, high-frequency areas first. Think automated inventory restocking based on predicted demand, or routine approvals that follow clear rules.
Freeing up people even more.
That's the idea. Letting AI handle the predictable stuff allows humans to focus purely on the strategic, the novel, the complex. But, and this is crucial, it requires incredibly robust safeguards and clear lines of accountability if things go wrong.
Makes sense. And the guide comes back to ethics, right? The importance of ethical AI development for the future.
Absolutely critical. As AI becomes more embedded, building trust is paramount. That means ensuring fairness, transparency, accountability, actively addressing potential algorithmic bias, making models more explainable, protecting data privacy. These aren't just nice-to-haves.
They're essential for acceptance and compliance.
Yes, and increasingly, they're becoming a competitive advantage. Businesses known for responsible AI practices will likely build more trust with customers, employees, and regulators. Ethical development has to be baked in from the start.
So the future involves more powerful, more integrated, hopefully more ethical AI, potentially taking over more routine decisions.
That seems to be the direction outlined. It's an exciting but also challenging path ahead.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, drawing from this AI Coach Guide. Let's try to bring it all together in a conclusion. What are the main takeaways?
I think the core message is that AI agents represent a truly transformative force for business decision-making. They offer significant improvements in efficiency, accuracy, and objectivity compared to traditional methods.
And they directly address those key challenges we discussed earlier: information overload, human biases, time constraints.
Exactly. They provide a powerful toolkit for navigating the complexities of the modern business environment by leveraging data more effectively.
So the guide essentially issues a call to action for businesses.
Very much so. The implication is clear. Businesses really need to start exploring and adopting AI agents now if they want to stay competitive. The risk of inaction, of falling behind, is significant.
What should be the first steps according to the guide's principles?
Start by identifying areas where AI could deliver high value, maybe where decisions are currently slow, inconsistent, or overly reliant on limited data. Then, pilot projects start small, learn, iterate. Crucially, invest in the necessary data infrastructure and also in training your people to work alongside these new tools. And resources like the AI Coach by Anil Nathu website can provide further guidance.
Right. It's not just about the tech, it's about the people and processes too. And the guide ends on a note about human AI collaboration.
Yes, a really important final thought. The future isn't necessarily about AI completely replacing human decision makers, especially for complex strategic choices. It's more about synergy. Combining AI's incredible power to analyze data and spot patterns with uniquely human strengths, like creativity, empathy, ethical judgment, and strategic vision.
So AI handles the data crunching, humans provide the context, the values, the nuance.
That's the ideal. AI can analyze market trends, but humans understand brand values and company culture. Mastering this balance, this collaboration, is likely the key to unlocking real innovation and making decisions that are not just data-driven, but also meaningful and aligned with broader goals.
Embracing AI, then, isn't just about efficiency. It's about fundamentally reimagining how businesses operate and compete in an increasingly data-driven world.
Well said. That captures the essence of it.
Thank you so much for joining us today for this deep dive into AI for business decision-making, drawing on those valuable insights from the AI Coach by Anil Nathu.
My pleasure. It's a fascinating and rapidly evolving field.
We really encourage you, our listeners, to think about how AI agents might be applied in your own work, in your own context, to perhaps enhance your decision-making processes.
It's definitely worth considering.
Thank you for joining us today. Visit the AI Coach website for more AI insights by Anil Nathu. And maybe ask yourself, how might AI reshape your approach to decisions in the coming years?